What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the ANS podcast. I am your host, Alec Miller. Excuse the horrible angle. You're gonna get some kind of really bad angles today. I'm kind of sitting on the bed. The show must go on. I'm your host, Alec Miller. You can find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. And as always, joined by my main man, Jesus.
What's going on, man? You can catch me on Twitter at TheRealJesus, and that's spelled Jeezus.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here. We had a big time fight card this past week. What a great way to get back on schedule with our podcast. Big title fight between Ngannou and Stipe. Dude, this card was banging from the very beginning, right from the get go. As soon as the pay-per-view started, and a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of big wins, and I'm just super excited to talk about this.
Yeah, man, I think it might be over delivered a little bit. I think a lot of people were down on it as far as the fight card goes, but they were excited about the main card and maybe the championship fight. But I think it over delivered. I definitely think it over delivered.
Absolutely. I think so too. Also, we were talking about some of the fight announcements that we had recently. That'll probably be at the very end of the show. We're going to go ahead and cover UFC 260 first, and then we'll get into the big fight announcements that we had. Houston's starting to look really nice, really good. Haven't looked at the tickets yet. I'm scared to. And then we also have some Final Four action going down this weekend. We have some Bellator going on right as we speak. So it's a jam-packed weekend this weekend too, man.
Yeah, a lot of sports going on here locally. We also have opening day for baseball, which was yesterday. A lot going on with going to be maybe the bridge that gets the collective country back into some sort of normal outings with a lot of people, since they're going to be, so often. So that's coming in. You mentioned Final Four. I'm very excited about the Final Four. I don't think there's any other sport that treats their semifinals as big as the men's college basketball, man, because it's just crazy. Like, people here in Houston are like, crowning U of H, that they did something by just getting to the Final Four, the first time in 37 years or whatever they say. And although, like, for me as a fan, I think it's awesome, but it's like, man, I want the championship, man. I want that number one. I want the ring. You know what I'm saying? For a city, I mean, it was amazing in 2017 with the Astros, man. So we want more. We don't just want semifinals.
Absolutely, man. And I don't think a coach deserves it more than Mr. Kelvin Sampson. That dude is so good. Been around basketball for so damn long. He's at, I think, 1,000 wins now after that most recent win. So getting him, Quentin Grimes, Giroux, all those guys, not only just a shot in the like you said in the Final Four, but seeing them in the championship against most likely an undefeated Gonzaga, although don't count out quite yet. But the thing about UCLA, man, they don't go away.
Man, they just keep chipping away, Gonzaga. Man. It's just crazy.
And Gonzaga, and you can listen to the Red Glare podcast. Me and Paul talked about this recently. Gonzaga necessarily has, I wouldn't say they haven't been tested. They just haven't quite been, they haven't had to like really buckle down and put their and basically pull up their pants and hit big boy shots yet. They basically ran to everybody.
They've been front running, man. They've been front running. So if somebody comes out and punches them in the mouth and gets them down a little bit, we'll see how they react. And I don't know if UCLA can do that, because UCLA hasn't been able to do that this whole year. It's just been, like you said, just sticking around and kind of waiting for their shot. But man, I'm interested in both games. Obviously, Final Four. Baylor's a huge test for U of H as well, man. I don't know how that defense is going to hold up to Baylor's offense, because they have a lot of studs up there. They got a lot of guys that can create their own shot. But man, I got to say, man, basketball is a love of mine, and that defense from U of H looked stout, man. Looked really stout in the first half, for sure. In the first half, looked really stout, and I was like, man, if they keep playing like this, there's not going to be anybody that can kind of hang with them. And their offense was doing great as well. They were creating some easy buckets off of the rebounds and the offensive rebounds like that. But that second half was tough, man. It was tough to watch. It was worrisome a little bit because if they play two halves like that, then they're not gonna make it competitive.
Yeah, no. I mean, the last time they were really tested before the Oregon State game was that Rutgers game, and Rutgers, they were losing basically the entire game until those I think the last like 4 minutes where they held Rutgers to very little points. So that's the kind of defense though that you need down the stretch. The question is, can they do that for an entire game? We'll see. I know Giroux with that hip injury that he had, he's been kind of nursing that. Hopefully these last couple of breaks that they've had between these games will help him get back into good health, into top shape. But man, Quentin Grimes, I think Quentin Grimes is just a beautiful thing to see for this team when he goes down the court and makes a big boy shot like he did against Oregon State. Shot, man, like that. That's the type of player that this U of H team needs. And we talked about how they don't normally get guys outside of their pipeline. They don't get guys outside of their really they get a lot of locals. They get a lot of locals as Houston people that go to that grew up in Houston that go to U of H. So I'm hoping to have a really great showing in the Final Four, possibly a championship appearance, just to see if they can get a couple more recruits. That stadium over there, man, that Fertitta built is a beautiful. It deserves to have top tier talent there. So I'm hoping maybe this could lead to more recruits because it's not like the NBA where it's all about you got to negotiate money and stuff. Like it's all about the recruits. Got to have the right people.
I mean, it's not about money. It's not about money.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, it's not really.
But man, I mean, Fertitta has invested a lot as a donor to that program, being a chairman to that program, which is, surprising, I guess, because he doesn't do it for the Rockets. But yeah, man, I agree. Whenever you're on the big stage like this, it does say something. I think also everyone talking about Kelvin Sampson, how good of a coach he is, and the staff that he's on there, which he has his kids on the staff in some capacity, and when they make it a family thing. And you're right, man. We get a lot of top tier talent. We get a lot of local talent, but we also get a lot of what I call like other program washouts or burnouts, where they'll go, let's say, to like UCLA or I don't know, like a UConn or something, and they're just homesick and they don't want to be up there. They're not used to it, and they redshirt or they just can't adjust, and they want to be back home, and they come back and they end up going to the biggest university here, which is U of H, or they'll go to maybe a TSU. And TSU was in the tourney too, and didn't do so bad either. But
Texas showed out in the tournament this year.
Yeah, oh, definitely, man, definitely. Except for UT, but
except for Texas,
exactly.
Texas, but at least they lost to Abilene Christian. So,
but yeah, I mean, half of the bracket right now is Texas teams, man, Baylor and U of H. So that's a big deal as well. So yeah, man, I just think that the extra eyeballs and just seeing how the program is running, like you mentioned, all the investments into the program itself, and also athletics overall. Football as well. Football's come a long way as well for U of H, the Cougars. So it's just an exciting time for college basketball. I mean, college basketball, college sports in particular here in Houston. And I hope we get some more, top tier talent, man, because I think if we get the top tier talent, we already have some of the local talent. I mean, they can only get better than this, and they're already doing very well.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. It's gonna be a lot of fun. As you were mentioning about the players that kind of wash out or don't necessarily like where they're playing. Quentin Grimes is a perfect example of that. Came from Kansas University, came to his hometown here in Houston, and is balling for his home team. So I'm not sure who's going. I don't think any of the University of Houston guys have declared for the draft. I'd be interested to see if maybe a Giroux or Quentin Grimes does, but I mean it doesn't matter because it's time at the moment. The latest mock draft I've seen, people got us taking Evan Mobley from USC, the center. I can see that.
What pick do they say? What pick do the Rockets have?
So at the moment we're number 2, but it's going based off of standings. So they don't take into account the
The lottery
draft lottery. Yeah, because at the moment, my Minnesota obviously was number one. Got them taking Cade Cunningham, but we're not too far behind them. And then and we just helped out because we just lost to the Celtics today, so that's nice. And then
keep it up, please.
I know, man. That win that we had against Minnesota really messed us up. How dare they?
There's another guy. There's another guy though that's better than Mobley. I think that would be a better fit.
I like Terrell Suggs. I love Terrell Suggs.
Isn't there like a Thorgood or Thurgood or something? I forgot his name. I don't remember. I gotta look him up.
I can look that up real quick. NBA mock drafts. Because the one I saw today was the one that was on Bleacher Report, and I love Bleacher Report. It's one of my favorite websites to pay attention to. So let's see. All right, let's see. So number one, Cade Cunningham. Number two, Evan Mobley, the center, which would be interesting considering we have. But I prefer Christian Wood at the four, anyways. Number three, Jalen Suggs. Or sorry, not Terrell Suggs. Jalen Suggs. You have Jalen Green from the G League. Jonathan Kuminga from the G League. Keon Johnson. Is it a center or a power forward?
No, I don't remember, man. I gotta go back and look at my guy who put me on to him.
Do you know what school?
Nope, I don't know. I just remember like a Thurgood or something. I gotta go back and look at. I did some research on him.
Okay, I don't see it there. I'm gonna keep looking, but go ahead and continue your point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, and you know, the other thing too is without John Wall, the team seems like they pass better. So I don't think John Wall is here for the long run either. From that standpoint, so like you mentioned. You know, they're I don't know. This is not his last year, right? He still got one more year. John Wall does.
Yeah, I think he's got one more year.
I think they flip him in, and they pick somebody up, and we get some more picks, and they have the core around Tate and Wood, and then whoever they draft, and I think that's the core going forward, man. And I don't think it's like necessarily a year, like a multiple year long rebuild. I think it's kind of like. I don't know, man. They're going to be nipping at the 8 seed pretty quick and then going from there as they gel and as they add pieces through free agency and through trading some of these other draft picks that they have.
Okay. I couldn't find anything, but
I'll look it up, man. I'll look it up, and I'll bring it back up.
Okay, and also just a little update. So the Astros are playing right now. I don't know if anyone that's watching. Most of the people that we watch are probably Houstonians, but if you're not, sorry. Alex Bregman just hit a 3-run homer. Astros now lead the Athletics in the top of the third, 3-0. So good to see Alex Bregman picking it up. I like that. I've made it no secret that I was very upset at how he kind of handled the whole trash can controversy. I don't think that – I feel like he was talking so much, was a very loud and braggadocious guy, which I loved. The reason why I loved Alex Bregman so much. But as soon as the whole controversy thing came out, instead of owning it, kind of like Carlos Correa did, he faded into the background, had a kind of a down year last year. So I'm hoping to see him have a kind of a bounce back year, I guess, is what. But and also he's looking for the big payday. We weren't able to give it to Carlos Correa. Carlos Correa wants a little bit more than $120 million. So
a little bit more.
Yeah. And they won't even
be an understatement.
Yeah, they won't even talk. But Alex Bregman is due up too. So I mean,
Alex Bregman signed an extension. Remember, he signed a big deal, so he's already locked up for another 5 years. Through his arbitration, so he's good to go. We already got him locked up. It's Carlos Correa that we've been trying to get, and Carlos Correa, man, you know, just the way reading the tea leaves and everything. This is last year as a Houston Astro, man. There's no way they're going to re-sign him. He said they don't want a long-term deal, and I'm gonna be looking for a long-term deal. And today, Click came out with another press conference, and they said that there's 2 guys in the minor system that they're going to be looking to probably play some shortstop on a daily basis down there. Which one of them is called? I think maybe even Pedro Leon. They're going to try to put him at shortstop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I cut out, but you're back.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it sucks because Correa's not going to be here long term, man. This is part of the Tampa Bay Click, James Click, I guess theory or how he runs businesses or his business, which is handing out contracts, and it's just not to do any long-term contracts past 5 years, and that's really unfortunate because I think if you want to do 5 years, you can offer Correa a huge 5-year deal to keep him, and he would probably sign it because in 5 years he's going to be 31, which would be the age that George Springer just came off of and just signed a massive deal. So just get a 5-year deal, pay him ARV of 25 to 30 million, whatever, something close to whatever Lindor got, and maybe even be creative. You got 60 million coming off the books next year with both Greinke and what's his name, Verlander, and you just front load 60 million to that first year just to get it out the way, and then you can knock it down to have more flexibility after that. Because Greinke's not going to be here next year. Verlander's not even pitching this year, so it's not like you need that 30 million anyways, because you're not getting anything out of Verlander. And you just front load it, give him a 5-year deal that's like way better than what he can get in a 10-year deal. Then he hits free agency again at 31, and he'd be happy. But it's not something that the Astros and James Click want to do. So we're just gonna enjoy this last year with Correa, man. Hopefully we championship out of it, and that's the end of the core. Basically, we'll just have Altuve and Bregman next year, and Gurriel won't be here either next year. So it's gonna be a completely different team, and hopefully Alvarez turns into the monster that we all think he is, and we'll have that core of Altuve, Bregman, and Alvarez. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, and dude, don't get me started. Whitley's got to get on the field, or we got to let him go. Sorry, I'll say it. Forrest Whitley's got to get on the field, we got to let him
go. Dude, Forrest Whitley's gone, man. He ain't going. He's when he comes back, he's gonna have no years of eligibility, man, and he's not. I think he's gonna be 25 or 26 when he comes back, and he's not gonna have any experience in the majors, dude. And the Astros has to make a decision in him. Where can you go? There's no way to put him on the 40-man roster, dude. There's no way.
I hate it, dude. I had so much expectations for him, and he just was never right when the Astros were ready to put him out there on the field. He starts getting blown up in the minors. This year
he pops for juice.
Pop for juice, and then he's ready to come into this year, and then Tommy John surgery. It's it's not one thing, it's another with that guy. So it's ridiculous, but. If you are looking for another team, if you're an Astros fan and you're not expecting good things from them, I will say, man, I am liking that team over there in Toronto. I was watching
Look, here's the rules. Hey, here are the rules, man. No. You cannot have another team in the same. You have to be a National League team. I had to give up my beloved Boston Red Sox because we were a National League team. I had to give them up. Okay, now they're not beloved anymore. I hate them. So I'm on the Braves now. I'm on the Braves now. Okay, the Braves.
I don't mind being on the Braves. I love Acuna Jr. But dude, come on, man, it's hard. I basically hate a lot of the teams in the National League because they're there for so long. The hate is there.
No, I agree, man. I hated the Braves for a long time. I'm only saying the Braves because one of my best friends is a big Braves fan.
I'm only saying the Braves because my son's on the Braves this year for baseball. I'm gonna get the hat. But the Padres too. The Padres is probably a really good team that you can pay attention to as well. I think Tatis is a star. That dude's gonna be the face of the league one of these days. But I was saying with the Blue Jays, man. I was watching the game yesterday because I drafted Bo Bichette for my team. My brother told me he's a really good player. Keep my eye on him. So I was watching, and man, dude, they're very quietly a really good lineup. And then Springer's not even in the lineup yet. Yeah,
well, dude, they were gonna be scary if they would have signed Michael Brantley like they supposedly had signed him already. Yeah,
apparently he was, and they gave him one more deal. They're like, "Whoa, we can't lose Springer and Brantley. We gotta keep one."
Yeah, exactly. And they overpaid for him, but he hit a home run yesterday. He's just a professional hitter, man. I like Brantley. I think the problem with them is going to be their pitching. I don't think they're full form when they're pitching, and they're also young.
Outside of Ryu.
Yeah, from a pitch. I'm not from pitching. From a batting standpoint, on offense, they're kind of young. But maybe that's why they bring in Springer. Springer ends up being that Beltran that they need. That veteran presence that's been around. That's been there. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, that's actually a team I'm gonna keep in mind. I'm gonna keep my eye on just to watch because I think they're a lot of fun to watch. The lineup, their lineup's really good. They got Kevin Biggio, Teoscar Hernandez, Vlad Guerrero.
A lot of ties to the Houston Astros in that team.
A lot. You got Lourdes Gurriel.
Exactly, exactly.
You have Kevin Biggio, but then you have Vlad Guerrero too. So I told my brother like this is like the all like relative team or something because
That's true. I thought about that.
yeah, it's the all relative team because they got Vlad Guerrero Jr., Lourdes Gurriel, Bo Bichette. My brother told me that Bichette's dad played in the MLB,
Yeah.
and
Vlad Jr.
but dude, Kevin Biggio,
Biggio.
man, that dude is a beast defensively, man. He's probably gonna he's gonna be a really good third baseman. He makes some crazy throws, and I think if Vlad just lost a little bit of extra weight, I know I don't. It's something about you got to be able to stretch. You got to be able to get that split down with the first base.
Man, I don't think we'll be talking about any COVID-19 weight right now, man. Not even for professional athletes, man. We've all gone through it.
Right, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry, Black Rose. If you're watching this, if you're watching it.
We know he's watching. We know he's watching.
We know that. Yeah, no, I don't know why I said if, but just a quick the Bellator results. So I don't necessarily know any of these guys that are fighting. I do see a Nurmagomedov, Usman Nurmagomedov.
Usman, yeah.
Defeated Mike Hamill via unanimous decision. We're still waiting for the main event, which is Patricio Pitbull versus Emmanuel Sanchez. So that's going to be a fun main event. And from what I've heard on Twitter, it's a very fun card. So this is one that I might have to go back and rewatch, see if I can find some highlights or something.
Yeah, man. Pitbull is always fun to watch, man. He has a win. I think he has 2 wins over Michael Chandler.
Nice. At featherweight?
Yeah, nope. At lightweight. Yeah, he's the 2 division champ for Bellator for featherweight and lightweight. Yeah, and nice. I mean, I think he put him to sleep, dude. So he's the real deal. He's another guy that would slot right in at 145 or 155 in the UFC, and I'd love to watch, but he's not going anywhere.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and do what are you watching? I totally forgot to do it today. But I'll go first today. So for movies, the movie that I watched, excuse me, the movie that I watched this last week, I actually watched I didn't watch much actually, but I did watch the second Naked Gun in the Naked Gun series. Commando. I watched Commando, bro. I've never seen Commando. I'm not a big
Commando.
I'm not a big like Arnie. Like I'm not a big fan, but I just haven't watched a lot of Arnie stuff from like the 80s. And dude, it's amazing. It's so ridiculous. You want Arnie? If you want Arnie,
you want Prime? You want peak Arnie?
Yes, man. This is it, bro. Like it's amazing. There's the part where he's like, I guess he told that guy Paul, he's like, I'm gonna kill you last. And then I told you I was gonna kill you last. Yeah, you did say that. I lied, and then just drops. Or whenever he kills that guy in the plane, he's like, oh, don't bother my friend. He's dead tired.
that was peak Arnold, peak 80s action movies. That was like the peak right there, man.
Love it, man. So I watched that, and then for TV shows, I've been watching a lot of. I've been actually binging Supernatural again. I stopped around like season 10, so I started from the beginning, and I've been binge watching it again. I'm on season 9. Not a bad season. It's definitely better than the season with the Leviathans. Like, if I told you, oh, there's gonna be a season of the Supernatural where they're gonna fight the creatures that H.P. Lovecraft talked about.
Oh, nice.
If I told you that, wouldn't you be like, "There's no way there's no way that's gonna be a bad season," right?
No, yeah. I mean, I think you have so many eyeballs on that just because of the H.P. Lovecraft thing.
It was the worst. It was the worst season. Dude, first of all, I don't know if you know about that. Are you a Supernatural fan?
Nope, I haven't seen that one episode of it, man.
So the show was supposed to end at season 5. The show was supposed to end at season 5 when they defeated Lucifer, and and stop the apocalypse. The show was supposed to end, and it's dude. If that was the ending, it would have been a perfect ending. But it was too popular.
Perfect jump off.
Yeah, but it was too popular. They had to keep it going, and it just got it got good. It was good, and then they got to that Leviathan because they were called the Leviathans, and basically just coming up with a way to make people like mindless zombies so they could just feed on them for the rest of their lives. And it was nothing about it was the only thing that had to do with H.P. Lovecraft was that they were called Leviathans. And I'm an H.P. Lovecraft fan. There's so
they bastardized it.
Yeah, they used the name, used the Leviathans thing, and they were just it was ridiculous. But the season I'm in now, angels are locked out of heaven. They're all on Earth. They're trying to get back into heaven. I love how they talk shit about angels because it's supposed to be basically nothing that's not human is bad. Everything that's not human is bad. Angels are assholes. God's not around. For those who don't know, the final season they do end up fighting God. So it's all
wow, way to spoil it. Way to spoil it.
Oh, sorry guys. If you are big Supernatural fans out there, I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you. But it's good. Man, it's a good it's a good procedural. It's you know what you're gonna get. Most of the episodes are gonna be like case of the week, but then you're gonna get
monster of the week kind of deal.
Yeah, but you are gonna have some of the most unhealthy relationships in the movie and the show. The relationship between the brothers is so toxic. When one of them dies, they do everything they can to bring him back to life. There's a lot of cop-outs. A lot of cop-outs, but it's a good show, man. It's fun.
Not bad. So as far as me, what I'm watching for a movie, I just literally got out and I haven't finished watching it. Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, it's been all the rage. It's been, it already broke box office numbers for Hollywood, and this is the comeback for Hollywood, and yada yada yada, whatever. I'm not gonna spoil it. I know a lot of people are gonna be watching it, and it's fairly early in the run. It just came out on Wednesday, but so far it's good, man. It's just, it's what you want to see from a Godzilla versus Kong movie. I'm like 3/4 of the way through, so I can fairly say that I like it and I'm enjoying it. And it sucks because I'm able to do this and pause it versus if I had to do a movie theater, I get to watch the whole thing and without interruptions. That's what I don't like about it. And that's also why I still haven't watched the damn Snyder Cut, and I need to. But so far so good, man. So I'm gonna finish watching it after this. It doesn't matter what time we get off. But yeah, man, I recommend that. And then as far as the TV show, I don't know if I told you. I don't think I told you this last time we streamed, but the Solar Opposites, the season 2 came out, and I've been slow burnt. Oh, dude, if you like Rick and Morty, man, do you watch Rick and Morty?
I love Rick and Morty.
Okay, dude. Well, it's partly made by half of the creative mind of Rick and Morty, which is Justin Roiland, who's the voice of basically Rick and Morty, I think.
Everybody.
Yeah, basically everybody. So they made a new one with him and another guy named Mark McCahan, and it's called Solar Opposites. It's on Hulu. First season was phenomenal, dude. And this is how crazy it is because I like fight with myself and I fight with a friend of mine and my brother who watch it, because there's like this, we call it the C storyline, because there's an A and B storyline and then there's this random C storyline, and the C storyline is as good as the A and B, and then you're like, wait a second, but it's like so minor, but it's still good. Like you go back and forth on it. So season two came out on March 28th. 8 episodes, they're all available. But I'm just slow burning, dude. So I just finished episode 3, and I was mad because I wasn't gonna watch episode 3 until like next week. But it's just so good, dude. It's so good. It's so funny. It's so stupid.
Is it on Hulu?
It's on Hulu, man. It's on Hulu. Yeah. I recommend it, dude. Anybody out there, if you enjoy Rick and Morty, you enjoy that type of humor, the type of like smart, stupid humor stuff, you'll love Solar Opposites. It's amazing.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna check that out. tonight, most
Yeah,
likely.
dude. Yeah, and the thing about it for me too, man, is because you know how Rick and Morty, they take forever for their seasons to come out.
Yeah.
So Solar Opposites was the bridge, and I was like, oh, thank God, at least I got Solar Opposites. And it's the same way right now. There's no Rick and Morty until I think June. They said June 20th or whatever. So I'm going to try to slow burn Solar Opposites until June, where I can get some more Rick and Morty.
Nice. All right, that sounds good, man. With Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong, just like
Say it right. Say it right.
Sorry, man. I'm Team Godzilla all the way. I'm Team Godzilla all the way. But even though I stand in terms of the message, I do stand for nature versus industrial. But I do still go for Godzilla. I think he fights better guys. He's got more names under his belt than Kong does. Kong ain't got nothing under his belt. Who's Kong?
I mean, how can you go? He beat the Skull Eaters or the Skull Crackers, whatever they're called. He beat those guys.
Wow.
There was multiple. I mean, we've seen Godzilla up against one giant thing, but how about a lot of little miniature ones? How about that, huh? I haven't seen that.
Did he fight two of those like those weird things in the first movie? Get that out of here. He beat a guy. He beat one guy, but it had 3 heads. 3 heads. But yeah,
I don't know.
My girlfriend was like, "Oh, let's watch it. Let's watch it yesterday." She said, "Let's watch it tonight." I was like, and that's when I thought we were gonna do the podcast yesterday, and I was like, "Well, we're not gonna have time." And I don't like, just like you, I don't like watching it.
I don't like it.
I want to watch it in one sitting, especially like Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong. You can't watch that. It's so hard. It's just big fights, big monster fights. Like
yep.
We're gonna probably watch it probably Monday, most likely. Or not Monday.
Yeah. I feel like Godzilla versus Kong fills my need, void for like just monster movies like that. Like I love Pacific Rim, and even the second one. You know, like my son just bought them. He said, "Dad, can we buy them on Amazon so we can watch them whenever?" I was like, "Yeah, man, we'll buy them." And we just finished watching part 2 with what's that guy's name? Boyega, John Boyega.
Oh yeah, John Boyega.
And they're just fun, man. Like they're not supposed to be super deep. They're not supposed to be, look internal into yourself and what would you do in that situation? You know, there's never gonna be robots versus, giant kaiju, but it's just fun to watch. It's a fun visual. It's a fun little story that goes along with them fighting. And and also another thing I watched too. I don't know if you like Pacific Rim. There's also a cartoon, an anime cartoon on Netflix that just came out called The Black. Have you seen it? Have you heard about it?
I've seen it. I haven't seen it, but I've seen like it on Netflix. I just never watched it.
It's pretty good, man. And it was so good that they greenlit a second season, and they're talking about greenlighting a 3rd season before the second one comes out. And it's intertwined with the movies. So I think that's pretty cool about it. But yeah, man, that's the same thing as Godzilla versus Kong, man. It's just a fun watch, man. Just something fun to watch. You don't gotta get too deep in it.
Yeah. So for any fantasy baseball guys, so this is my first time ever doing fantasy baseball, and the only reason I have Trevor Bauer on my team, but he's got a no-no.
How dare you? How dare you have Tyler Bauer on your team?
I had to get him, man. I needed a pitcher, top pitcher at the time. I did not want Trevor Bauer because I had the 8th spot, and I wanted DeGrom, and I didn't. He's not
gonna fall to number 8, dude. He's gonna be at like number 5, 6.
Well, actually, I think he was taken right after mine, but because people did not take Juan Soto, and he was ranked above, and I didn't get into the lobby early enough. After Juan Soto, which is fine. It's not bad, but at the same time,
I got Soto in mine, but we have we had like a keeper league, so it just so happened I had DeGrom. I didn't keep him, and I got what I wanted. I wanted more offense than pitching. Dude, trade him, dude. I can't stand that dude. I can't stand him for
I don't know about Ken, dude. He's got 8.5 points right now. And look, Alcantara got me a decent amount of points yesterday. So
I got Bregman
right now.
I got Bregman on my team, and I got Blake Snell as well.
Nice. Other than that, I don't really have much. I mean, at the moment playing, I just have Trevor Bauer's kind of the guy right now, but also Christian Javier's got me 3 points right now. He's pitching a good game too. 3 Ks, only allowed 1 hit. So hopefully I like Christian Javier. I think Christian Javier is the future too. But I also got Urquidy, and I'm trying to get rid of him. Not because I don't like him, but just I don't like two pitchers on the same team.
On the same team. Also, dude, you heard about Framber, right? They put him on the 10-day deal.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, that's good. They were saying he's going to be out for a lot longer, but for them to put him on the 10-day DL, that means that he's going to be available soon.
That's good. I don't think I have him though. Yeah, I don't have him. Might need to. I have Soroka on my IL right now.
Dude, who are they going to move, man, from the starting five?
Because it's Greinke, obviously. Today, Christian Javier. I think tomorrow is Urquidy. Oh, no, tomorrow's McCullers.
McCullers.
And Urquidy, and then who's our five guy?
Our five guy is a guy named Garcia. I know you move him, obviously. He's only going to pitch this once. But you got Odorizzi coming that they signed in free agency, and he's our number 5. So then who do you move for Valdez? See, that's what I'm saying.
I would think maybe Javier might be the odd man out, just based off of I guess tenure. Urquidy's been on the
tenure, man. Dude, Christian Javier last year had, I think, numbers and Garrett Cole, dude. How do you like?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of Urquidy. Like he's on and off for me. But maybe it'll come down to who pitches the best in these upcoming starts. If
before there's an Odorizzi come back.
Yeah, but if Javier has he pitches a shutout through his innings, Urquidy gives up a run or 2 runs, then they might just say,
it. Okay. Cut him. Just cut him. Don't even bench him. Just cut him.
It's like the line is that.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Like I feel like the Astros are in a sort of transition from a super heavy offensive minded team to a pitching team.
Our pitching nice. Yeah, our pitching rotation is actually pretty nice.
And young. Besides Greinke.
And like seeing like Javier and Urquidy get like really decent, like really good reps and going deep into playoff games is a big deal. I think people don't take like playoff experience into account until they get into the playoffs. Like you gotta think about that in terms of also regular season. Like regular season games might not be anything to them. They're just like, just go out there and pitch another day. Like and they had those guys having that experience, man. You can't get experience until you actually get there, and those guys did it. So that's why talking about younger teams, like just getting to the playoffs is a good thing. Just playing in that playoff is a good thing. Even if you lose, if you get swept, who cares? You got those reps in. Get ready for the next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in that 2015 Astros team that over-delivered and was lost to the eventual champion Royals. That was part of the winning team in 2017. That they needed that loss and that experience to kind of figure out how to win in tight situations. I mean, dude, with that freaking game when we're about to beat the Royals and Will Harris just imploded, dude, and he couldn't get an out. Tony Sipp messed up; he couldn't get an out, and it just blew up from there. So yeah, man, I agree. As long as those guys got some good reps in last year, I think we got a bright future for our pitching staff.
Yeah. So if you're a Padres fan, keep an eye out for them next year, man. They got some decent reps too. They're just a young team. Wait for them. But we're an MMA podcast. We're not a baseball podcast, even though I love talking baseball with you, brother. You're really you know your shit. And I'm new to baseball. I'm just like kind of like base. This is my first year doing MMA baseball.
Fantasy baseball.
Yeah, so I'm looking at all the teams. I'm looking at like all my games that I watched like 4 different games yesterday because I had players.
Man. It makes it a lot funner, dude. It makes it a lot funner. Absolutely. Like I watch a lot of baseball for the same reason. Yesterday was like awesome for me because I was watching like 2-3 games. I watched the Phillies and I think the Braves. I think they played the Braves. I also watched damn it, who else did I watch? Was it San Diego? I don't remember. I watched 2 games yesterday. And then watched a little bit of the Astros game. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole Astros game.
I watched the whole Astros game. I went to bed super late last night.
Yeah, man. So yeah, dude, it's a lot. Like when you have skin in the game, it makes it a lot more fun, and you can watch them play. And then you can also like see players coming. Like right now, I don't know if you know this guy, He plays for the White Sox. Eloy Jimenez. That dude was on my team for like the past 3 years, and he kind of carried my. He's a up rookie, and I couldn't keep him last year. And unfortunately, he got hurt, so I didn't keep him because I couldn't. I was going to, but I couldn't. But he got hurt, dude. So he's out for this whole year because he tore his pectoral muscle or something like that. So, yeah, but he's good, and when he comes back, he's gonna be good. So it's just like you get to know other people's farm systems and their up and coming players and how good they are and what they have in the pipeline.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's just pretty cool, man. You learn. It's like a different aspect of the game.
Yeah, for sure, man. So like right now, you're gonna be mad at me. I have I got Kelly over there, Arizona. That's not what you're gonna be mad about, but I got Matt Olson, who is giving me a nice 0. Give me a nice 0.
Goose egg.
Yeah, Keto Marte, who got me a decent amount of points yesterday, but he's got me.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad.
I got Moncada from the White Sox.
Yohan Moncada. He's good.
Anderson from the White Sox. I don't realize how many players I have on there on the same team.
You got Tim Anderson, right?
Yeah, Tim Anderson. I got CJ Cron from the Rockies.
I got him too. I expect a lot of homers from him.
Will Myers from the Padres got me a decent amount of points. Ramon Laureano just got me 4 points.
Dude, you got 2 players from the Athletics as well. You got Olsen and Laureano.
That's how sometimes how the board falls, man. That's how.
Yeah, but you got to be careful because so you guys run like Sunday to Sunday or something, or how do you guys run?
I get 7 days, so
okay.
Thursday to Thursday.
Okay, so you just gotta be careful of having too many on the same team because if they don't play, if they have off games, then you're not getting those at bats, and you have to put those guys on your bench, and you can't pick up a guy to pick up more at bats. Like it's not just your team guys; it's how many at bats you put in and how many pitchers you put in to kind of help you win. So if let's say you got the A's have a day off today, and then the White Sox have a day off tomorrow. You got 2 guys from each team, so that's you missing 8 at bats. That's 8 more chances that your opponent has to hit a home run or to get on base or to get a run. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's not that good.
I've been trying to make moves, but this guy wouldn't trade with me earlier, so I'm gonna have to get out some other people. Like, I don't know. I hate guys that in leagues that would just look at your roster and just I don't like anybody and won't work with you.
Oh, dude. Yeah, dude, when you get in the fantasy baseball, dude, there's so many analytical guys and just non-social people that are no, thank you. And then when they come to you, they'll pitch you a trade that's heavily favored for them, and then they'll try to say, well, the analytics say that I'm losing this trade, but I'm just doing it because I need so and so. All right, dude, you're so smart. Yes, here I'm gonna accept your trade that's heavily sided towards you. Like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So because I was trying to get Jordan because I need a DH because the DH I have right now, I'm not necessarily in love with him, which is Franmil Reyes.
They have to be DH.
So I was like, well, it's a utility. No, I want to have one just to have those utility.
Yeah, but dude, when you play utility, you don't have to be you can use.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, dude, use a guy that's just gonna get on base and get you some steal. What are your things? Is steals one? Is an average one? Is homers one? Run batted in? Runs? What are your stats that y'all go by?
So let me see. So scoring is singles 1, doubles 2, triples 3, home runs are 4, base on balls is 1, runs scored is 1, RBIs is 1, stolen bases is 1. And then a strikeout gives you -0.5.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, a game-winning RBI. Yeah, dude. I had a couple guys yesterday that were negative because they struck out a couple times.
So you got to look at low strikeout guys.
Game-winning RBIs is 5. Intentional walks, you get 1.5 points for an intentional walk. It's wild. It's why would an intentional walk? I guess it makes kind of sense, but shouldn't a walk?
Well, it's because they're rewarding you because you didn't really get an at bat because they didn't let him get an at bat because he's so dangerous. So
That makes sense. Hit by pitch is 0.5 points. A sacrifice is 0.5. If you get caught stealing, it's -1. If you ground into double play, which is this is tough, you get -1 for grounding into a double play. And
I
then
mean, it's true. The guy, whoever, I mean, I think Altuve did it in the last game, but yeah, there's guys out there that never ground into double plays, dude. It's crazy. The stats you start learning, dude, it's like ridiculous,
it is
man.
crazy. Then you have hit for the cycle is 10 points, and then grand slam home runs, dude. And there was a guy yesterday. I don't think he was on my
Yeah, hit
team,
for
but
the
there was a guy
cycle.
is
Go
10
ahead, go ahead.
points. Yeah, hit for the cycle is 10 points, and then a grand slam home run is also 10.
Dude, no, cycle should be like 50 points, dude. You should automatically win your game if one of your guys hits for the
Right?
cycle. That's how rare it
That's
is, dude.
hard. Yeah, it's super hard, man. Earned runs for pitching is -1. A win is 5 points. A loss is -5. Which oh shit. A save gets you 3, but I think I only have like one reliever. I don't even know if he's a closer. Uh, save is 3 points. Blown saves is -3. Strikeouts is 1. Walks issued -5. I mean, if you get a shutout, it's 10. 10 points for a shutout. So like,
Dude,
say
10 points for a shutout and 10 points for a cycle. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
home runs allowed. This is like a one that I got through some people that I know through the trivia leagues. Home runs allowed -1. Hit baseman is -0.5. A balk is -1. A pickoff is 5. Quality starts 6. Complete game is 9. No hitters 10. Perfect game is 15, and a hold is 3. So,
Yeah, you're missing out a lot on relievers, dude. You're missing out on three for holds. Shit, 3 for holds and 3 for
so maybe I should go look and
saves.
try and get relievers.
Yeah, man, and get holds too, man. The holds guys are usually not picked up a lot, but they're the same as a save. Shoot, you got a bunch of guys out there that I mean, we have Paredes, we have Blake Taylor, who's probably going to get some holds. You got Washington, you got Tanner Rainey, who is going to get holds right now. He's probably going to take over the closing job as well. So I mean, yeah, dude, there's a bunch of guys out there you can get to take advantage of that stat.
Well, you will be my my confidant here for fantasy baseball this year. But let's go ahead and get into the big card, dude. We had so much fun with this past card. Some big knockouts, some big wins. There was a dud, I think, in the middle of that card, which I would probably say was Robertson versus Maverick. Not a dud, but just kind of like not as exciting as one would think. But I think Maverick proved that she is a player in this division. I don't know if she's a top tier kind of person in the flyweight division, considering it's hard not to compare every person that comes in to the flyweight to Shevchenko. It's incredibly hard not to. It's just that's kind of the first thing you go to is like, can this person beat Valentina?
Well, dude,
the answer is no.
It's so funny because that's the same thought process I had when Demetrius Johnson was reigning over the flyweight division in the men's side. As soon as I would bring in some new meat, I'd be like, oh man, Demetrius Johnson's gonna tear this guy apart. You know what I mean? It sucks, and it sucks for the new fighters coming, the new blood, the fresh blood coming in. But it's true, man. Like when you have somebody so dominant in that division, you can't help but kind of see how they match up, how they can potentially match up. And you're right, dude. Like she just, I mean, she's okay.
Yeah. So I didn't watch. The only fight that I watched in the prelim card was the fight between Alonzo Menifield and Fabio Cherant. And this was a good win for Menifield, man. Like he's got a really nice build, but he just hasn't really put the wins together. He's been kind of sliding. And to see him get this win, I think is probably against a much lesser opponent than he's fought recently. But that Darce choke was very nice.
It wasn't.
Was a Darce choke? Was it,
the OSP or the Von Flue?
The Von Flue. There you go. The Von Flue choke. That was a really nice choke, man. He's so damn big, so he wasn't even in the perfect position to get it, but just because he's so big, he just basically laid on the guy's throat. and choked him out. So to see him get a win like that is probably a really good thing for him. Sometimes it's just like baseball. You just got to, I mean, it's just like basketball. Sometimes you got to see the ball go through the hoop. Sometimes you just got to get a win. And he has that. So we'll see what happens in his next fight. But light heavyweight is one of those divisions, too, that's just, it's very, very light. There's not a lot of people that you can see going up to fight Jan at the moment. You hope that Dominic Reyes can beat the guy. I always forget the guy's name because he's like kind of a no name.
Is Jiri? Is it Jiri? No,
Something
it's Jiri,
like that.
Yeah, and that guy has a huge hype train behind him, dude. And he has a lot of power, so it's not going to be an easy task for Reyes to do.
Yeah, but you hope because there's outside of Glover Teixeira, there's not really many guys. Maybe what's his name? The guy that just beat Thiago Santos. Why am I blanking on these guys' names? That's how little I paid attention to the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, it's kind of gone by the wayside. Yeah, it's kind of gone by the wayside, man.
So you can really fly up the rankings. We'll see what happens. I'm actually gonna look it up right now. Sorry. Light heavyweight. Right. So he's fighting Jiri Prochazka. That's who Dominic Reyes is about to fight. Which I mean, in terms of ranking, he wouldn't fall very much because Jiri's at 5 and Dominic Reyes is at 3. But if Jiri wins and knocks out Dominic Reyes, that's a big deal. That is a giant deal.
He's the guy that would get the championship fight after Glover.
Absolutely. So the other guy, I think, say if Dominic Reyes wins by decision, he probably won't. It would probably be given to Rakic just because Rakic hasn't lost yet. I mean, hasn't lost to Jan, whereas Dominic Reyes has. But if Dominic Reyes has a really good showing and knocks out Jiri and looks great doing it, I mean, he'll probably get this title shot. But I think at the moment it's set up for Rakic to get the title shot next, most likely. If probably. Jan takes out Glover Teixeira, which is, as you said, it's a big if.
That's a big if, man. I mean, Glover's kind of set up to fight exactly how Jan what Jan walks into, which is a lot of counter punching and boxing, and he's just slick. He's a slick boxer. So I don't know. That's a interesting matchup for me. I haven't really broken it down like I normally do, but we still got some time before I have to do that, anyways. But it's just interesting. It's an interesting fight.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see that going forward. But the reason I brought that up is because Menifield could make a run. All sports are about runs. You gotta just get on the right run at the right moment, and we'll see. But I mean, we don't know at the moment. But at the same time, let's get to the main card. So we have Jamie Malarkey knocking out Kama Worthy in 46 seconds. Jamie Malarkey, man, he's been on the wrong side of some really good performances.
Exactly.
Some really good fights. And he finally got one, just like we're talking about. You just got to see it go in. He got the knockout on Kama Worthy. And I like this dude Malarkey here in the lightweight division. He's got a weird body frame. I don't know why. His body kind of is different, but the fact that he made 155 kind of shocks me when you see what he looked like on Fight Night. But I mean, that's probably a thing you hear from me often is how did that guy make so and so weight? Because some of these weight cuts are ridiculous.
Yeah, man, he looks like he has a huge wingspan is what you're trying to say too, right? He just has these weird arms and just angles that he comes at. And like you said, man, he's been on the wrong side of some decisions and some performances as well. And I feel like, they hit a ball on your boy Tyler Bauer. Sorry.
I know.
Yeah, man, he's been on the wrong side of some decisions, some of these fights in the past, and I think he came in with the mindset I'm gonna do everything in my power not to let that happen, and he was really aggressive from the get-go, man. And I felt like the way he fought is he knew something that everybody else didn't about his opponent, about Kama Worthy, and he felt that he was gonna catch. And that's why he fought the way he did. And lo and behold, man, he caught him square on the chin, and it was over.
Yeah, man. Kama Worthy's had kind of a big slide I think the first fight I saw him fight was against Smith. And he knocked him out in 4 minutes. But he's had a really big slide. He got knocked out by a sidecar. It doesn't say what was the result against Pena. I think Pena beat him, right?
No, he beat
Uh,
Pena by
he beat Pena. Okay.
by a guillotine.
Oh, by guillotine. Okay, so he beats Pena. He beats Smith, but then he gets knocked out by a sidecar, and now he gets knocked out by a Malarkey. Um, so he kind of needs a win, or really, he just kind of needs to not get knocked out in his next fight.
Yeah, man. Because if not, he's chinny all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's chinny, and we start looking at who's next to get cut. It's going to be maybe Kama Worthy.
Yep.
So next fight, look to not get knocked out. That's the only thing I can say on that fight.
Make end bell, and that's a minor victory for you.
Yeah, for sure. If you lose by decision, at least he didn't get knocked out. Next up, Jillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. Did you get the chance to go back and watch this fight?
No, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched the highlights of it. That's all I watched.
Okay, so Miranda Maverick looks fantastic on the ground in the first round. Like, she was able to take down Jillian, and you were like, oh man. And Jillian loves the groundwork, dude. She's a ground specialist. She takes Miranda. She gets taken down. Kind of looks like Miranda's a lot bigger than her. Can't get her off of her. Second round, Jillian goes for the takedown. And dude, when I say one of the smoothest I've seen on the ground, Jillian is what I'm thinking of. Like, she's so smooth on the ground. She's making all these transitions. She doesn't try too hard on one thing. She tries to, if she realizes something isn't working, she makes a transition to get into something else. Like, she's really good on the ground. She just doesn't get finishes, and that's my biggest issue with her. She doesn't get finishes. A lot of times she's going for, or she's just putting on the clinic but not winning. So in this second round, she has Miranda Maverick in a lot of precarious positions, but Miranda Maverick is able to get out of it, survive a little bit longer. And the third round is when Miranda Maverick fights a great fight. She goes into her. She realizes from that first round that Jillian wasn't able to get her off of her, so she jumps on her and is able to beat her up on the ground. If they stand up, Miranda obviously has the advantage on the feet. So I think when I watched it, my first thought was she fought a veteran's fight for only being, I believe she's only 23 years old. Miranda Maverick.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been seeing. I don't know why she's been popping up on my Twitter, and she's been having to defend herself, I guess, for her performance. But basically, she's just been saying that she had to do what she had to do to win. In other words, is what she was trying to tell people. And is that kind of what you got from it?
Yeah, that's what I got from it. Like, she realized, hey, like, if I let her go first, she's a lot better than me on the ground. But if I'm on first, if I'm on top of her, if I'm first, I'm a lot stronger than her. I can make sure that she doesn't get me off of her, and that's what she did, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting a win that way. I mean, especially when you're 23 years old, it shows that you have really good fight IQ. You know what you're good at, what you're not good at. And I'm not saying Miranda's not good on the ground. It's just that she was getting outclassed, even though she wasn't getting. But she knew also, like, if she does get on top of me, like, she's not going to finish me. Like, she had 100% confidence in her ability to not get finished. So I think she fought a good fight. It might not have been the most exciting fight. People might have wanted more from her, but at this moment, like, to get to these rankings, get to the ranks, she doesn't need to be crazy and put herself out there and try to go for a win. Like, she knew exactly what to do. She owned that first round. That first round was hers all the way. So there was no denying. All you gotta do is win this third round, and it's yours. Now, I don't agree with one of the judges called it 30-27 for Miranda. I don't agree with that one. I do think that
called it 30-27.
Yeah, that I don't agree with. That I thought that was ridiculous. I mean, Jillian won round two. It's just that there was a point where in the second round where Miranda was able to get back to her feet for like a good 45 seconds, and she was piecing up Jillian. But Jillian didn't look hurt. She was just taking damage. But she didn't knock down. She didn't get almost knocked out. So that's why I was like, what? That didn't make any sense to me. But I don't know. You could watch it and think completely differently from what I'm thinking.
Yeah, man, and just real quick to touch on that, I mean, if you thought it, I mean, this is a very big fight for her, man. It's on a pay-per-view card, on a major pay-per-view card, and you're coming in. You're not the first fight. You're the second fight, so you're not the opener. So it's a lot of pressure, man. It's a lot of pressure, and I think she was smart and she's doing the right thing by saying, "I'm gonna win no matter what." And that's what she did. She won. So
what a segue from you. What a segue from you. And I don't think you realize you did it, because a fighter who says they're willing to do anything to win and win any way that they have to, into a fighter that says he doesn't like TKO wins, and that's Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. This guy, man, he makes it really hard to like him. He really does.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, he's already on my no like list.
First of all, he still says that he didn't lose that fight, which is absolutely ridiculous. Chito Vera earned that fight, earned that win, kicked the hell out of his leg. You could say, "Oh, it was a freak accident." No, he kicked the shot of your leg and you didn't check it. So he did win. He won that fight. And in this fight, I won't even say knockout, because I don't think that this was a miss by the ref. I think he dazed and knocked down Thomas Almeida really good. But you got to go in there and you got to finish it. Like it wasn't a clear knockout. Like he was still Thomas Almeida was still a little aware of where he was. He wasn't completely out of it. But we know Sean O'Malley loves his walk off knockouts, and it didn't work out for him this time. And he even tried it in the third round, obviously, but he did get his. I guess they still call it a TKO to make him, but it was technically a TKO. But this guy, man, like when you hear things like, when I think champion, I think of someone who's willing to do what they need to do to win the fight. If you have to pull a Kamaru Usman and stomp on somebody's feet for 5 rounds, you do it. Like that's what you got to do. And O'Malley says that's not what he wants. He wants the highlights. Even when he had Thomas Almeida like rocking on the cage, he was throwing spinning back kicks, which is not what you do in that scenario, man. Like hit the straight shots, punch him in the face, and get him down on the ground. And instead, he's over here throwing spinning back kicks in very tight quarters. They're clearly glancing off the side of his guard, of Almeida's guard, and it's not a good look for me, man.
Oh man, where to start with him, man? I mean, he does some things like super well, super creative, super fast.
Yeah, he's a top tier striker. He would be
a beast. And it's not just even that too, man. I mean, he's fast, so that helps him. But he's creative, man. He was doing these little things where he was setting him up and changing levels, and then even like doing this little fake where he was twisting his head and making Almeida bite that he was going to do a spinning kick or a spinning move, and Almeida's not a slouch either on feet, and he was jumping to him too, so it's just he reminds me a lot of a younger Faber. Because Faber would throw caution to the wind, and that's kind of what he's doing right now. He's throwing caution to the wind, and whenever he steps up in competition, like when Faber fought Mike Brown, Faber threw the spinning back technique or spinning punch, and Brown saw it coming. He ducked under it, and he threw he's left-handed. He threw a massive left hand that landed on the jaw and knocked out Faber for the first time in his career and gave him his first loss. And if he keeps jumping up in competition, which he's going to, and he keeps thinking he's miles and miles ahead of some of these athletes, he's going to get caught like that. He's going to get put to sleep. Instead, what he should be doing is honing his craft, getting better, working his way to being a champion, because he has a skill set, the frame, the power, the speed to be a champion. He just doesn't have the mentality right now, and it sucks, because I always say you got to learn how to lose, and he didn't learn how to lose. He's not taking it as a loss. So he's going to say, and I'm not saying this like specifically word for word, I don't have to check kicks. He's not going to say I don't need to check. He knows he needs to check kicks. But what I'm saying is he's not thinking of the process. Okay, that was exploited in my game. So there's things that can be exploited in my game. Like maybe my stupid spinning back stuff that I do all the damn time. He's not thinking like that because he doesn't think he lost. You know, he thought it was a fluke. So he still has to. He still has to lose. He still has to get knocked down. He still has to get wobbled. He still got to get outclassed. And by outclassed, I don't mean somebody's gonna be faster than him or have better technique. I mean somebody can just wrestle the crap out of him and put him on the floor and beat him up for 3 rounds and outclass him. I mean, he can get outclassed when instead he should be working on his down defense and getting better so that he can be a champ. But we'll see, man. This guy is so unlikable, man. I don't like his podcast. I don't like how he talks. I don't like how he talks about other people. I'm gonna be rooting for people to knock him out and humble him. And he's gonna take a while. I mean, Darren Till just got out of my doghouse, and he's been in the UFC for years. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, who am I? I'm nobody. But I'm just saying, like, it just takes a long time once you make that impression on me that you're an asshole to get out from there and me want to watch you fight in a positive way.
Yeah, like, I mean, and it's not like he's in a division where there's not talented strikers. Like, the bantamweight division is a division with a lot of talented strikers, man. Like, you think of the top of the division, talented strikers. You have Corey Sandhagen right off the top of my head, man. Like that does exactly what he does, but it's a lot crisper, and he's willing to do what he has to do to win. He doesn't like Corey Sandhagen doesn't throw spinning kicks just to throw a spinning back kick. He does a spinning to land on top of your head and knock you out, just like he did with Frankie Edgar.
And he's in a better position than O'Malley is.
Absolutely. And then you look at the bottom of the things. First of all, just to break the top 15, he's got to go through Chito again. Like if you think about it like that.
Chito called him out again. He said he'll run it back. He said, I'll knock you out this time.
You want the top 15, call out Chito Vera. Call out someone who's similar to him, I think also. Kyler Phillips, who I think is an even more well-rounded version of Sean O'Malley. Right there at number 14. No one wants to fight this guy, but you got Merab Dvalishvili. Like,
oh, dude.
his hands up. What this guy decides to get his hands on you, and if he has a number next to his name, if you're Sean O'Malley, why don't you take? You probably most people would say I'm gonna take that fight, but I think at this point Sean O'Malley is just looking for guys who he can have highlight reel knockouts against, and that's not gonna create a champion. It's just not.
Yeah, at this point in his career, that's who he needs to fight to get that loss. Is Dvalishvili. That's who he needs to fight. That's who needs to ragdoll him. Yeah, he's gonna ragdoll him. He's gonna grind on him. He's gonna beat him up. And at the end of the fight, I'm hoping he learns and he gets humbled. But we're probably gonna hear more of. He didn't come here to fight. He just wrestled me. He didn't do anything. Yep. I'm fine, or whatever. Like it's just the same stuff, man. Like
this is a guy who would get knocked out and say it was lucky punch. Like, that's
exactly
dealing with when it comes to O'Malley. And unfortunately, he did win the performance of the night bonus, so that just eggs him on to say, "Hey, like, I did something right." But I will say that kill shot was yikes that he did on Thomas.
Was unnecessary. It was super unnecessary.
Super necessary. The ref didn't call it yet. Those will forever be known as super necessary. Also, Thomas Almeida was a lot more aware of where he was than Adam was when he took those shots from Masvidal. To say that.
Yes, that is
even then, I don't know if I don't necessarily, because as soon as he laid Mueller down on Thomas Almeida's face, the rest were like, the commentators were like, Sean O'Malley, he's doing it again. What's he doing? And then he smacks him in the face, and they're like, oh, maybe the ref should have called it.
No, exactly.
And say that.
You can't have it both ways. It's either you call it or you don't, and then you get the consequences by not doing it so early.
Exactly. You don't get to say, oh, man, you can't do hindsight's 20/20. It's always going to be 20/20. You can't say like, oh, he should have called the fight only because we know what came after. But what happens if a lot of those shots miss? Like in my experience of watching the UFC, a lot of those shots miss. Those straight down.
They hit the ground. Yeah. My thing is they need to incorporate with the refs on unlikability stats. So like if somebody's like an Askren or like I don't know, somebody who's really unlikable, like O'Malley, they get an extra punch on the ground when they're knocked out. I'm sorry, that's just how it works because you're unlikable.
Yeah, I agree,
Maybe
man.
that'll
Yeah,
teach him.
what's up with the ref heel turn, man? A lot of people are turning on the refs recently.
Dude, I don't even know, man. I saw this funny meme of a UFC because they were announcing so many fights for the Houston card, and somebody
Yeah,
put Hardy versus Herb Dean on there as that they were gonna put
I'll
that
watch
one on
it.
there as well.
I'll watch it. No, I love Dan Hardy, and I think Dan Hardy would take that fight in a minute.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to the co-main event. This is a great fight. So this is actually the fight of the night bonus. Right here. Oh, so I mentioned Sean O'Malley got the first bonus. Yeah, this is the fight of the night bonus. So both guys. So even though Tyron Woodley got knocked out or got choked out, he did get to go home with a little change in his pocket. Uh, right here with Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque, and so everyone's pointing out that he has not won. Tyron Woodley hasn't won a round since he got beat by Kamaru Usman, which is 100% true. But don't shoot me. This is actually the best he looked in his last couple fights, man. He had Vicente rocked, and then Vicente hits so damn hard. I wouldn't want to fight him at all.
Yeah, I feel like Luque is on the top 3 pound for pound power guys. Just pound for pound. Like if he was a heavyweight,
Yeah,
he'd be in Ngannou power. You know what I mean? He just
absolutely.
hits so hard, 170 pounds, and he has a freaking granite chin, dude. Like you can hurt him, but you're not gonna put him away, man. So
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Woodley
Like,
hit him super hard, man. Like Woodley
dude,
got some nice
flush.
shots in.
Yeah, flush, dude. And Woody has a ton of power too, man. And it just sucks because you're right, man. Like this is the best he's looked. He had to turn on that level of aggressiveness, but he overcompensated, man, and he got reckless in there. And he got reckless with the wrong guy. You don't get like I would much rather have seen him fight the way he fought everyone else against Vicente Luque, and then he should have fought Gilbert Burns like this or somebody else like this, but not Luque like this, dude. Like Luque is gonna put you to sleep, dude. You know, and whether
Yeah,
one way or another, whether it's with his hands or whether he's gonna choke you out. And also kudos to Luque for using that Bravo choke, man. That was a great choke, and he didn't have nowhere to go. Woody didn't have anywhere
Mhm.
to go, but
Yeah, it was
it's
perfect positioning for it.
it sucks, man. Like exactly like you mentioned, the best Woodley's looked in a long time, and he still gets choked in under 4 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, he probably should have been knocked out at one point. There was one point where he had to lean up against the cage just to keep himself standing because he
It
was.
looked bad, dude. It looked really bad.
Yeah, but this is because, dude, Luque, man. I think Luque is probably one of my favorite fighters to watch in the middleweight in the welterweight division. He's so much
Dude,
fun. He's gonna give
go
you a battle no matter what.
dude, go back and watch. Seriously, man, if you like Luque, go back and watch the Luque versus Barberena fight. It's
Yeah.
like literally a week before we started our podcast or something, or maybe 2 weeks before we started our podcast, and you missed it. But go back and
Damn.
watch that fight, dude. Go back and watch it. I'm
Uh,
telling you.
that's definitely on my to-do list because Vicente's won't become one of my favorite fighters. When we're talking about, I was watching this one podcast and they were talking about who's next. I wouldn't say Luque. Obviously, he's gonna have. We're getting Masvidal versus Covington. I mean, versus Kamaru Usman. Leon Edwards, who is at 3, is getting his money fight against Nate. So, I mean, he won't be moving up in rankings. There's a Vicente Covington, maybe.
Dude, that would be such a great fight,
Like
man.
such a
That would
what?
be that would be Luque versus Covington would be a great fight. It would be fight of the year, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, that's something I would actually look forward to as well. And then, like, say, put winner gets Usman or Masvidal. Most likely Usman, but we'll say for the Masvidal stands out there, we'll say maybe Masvidal. Because I know people are like, well, Masvidal's getting a full camp. Yeah, so is Usman
Exactly.
in a full camp too. So it goes both ways, guys. And I know I keep spouting it out, but I guess Thompson's not getting the love that he probably deserves. He's not gonna get a shot against Usman. It doesn't look like. So I would like to see Luque maybe get one before he heads on out. At least get one shot, you know.
Yeah, man. There's a couple guys up there, man. I think it's pretty even at the top of that division below Usman.
Mm.
Um, I don't know, man. I feel like it's gonna be an easy fight for Usman against Masvidal. So
Yeah,
you got Covington there again, who wants another fight. You got Wonder Boy, who hasn't fought, and then you got Luque, that are like the new guys, and then you got Edwards that needs one too.
yeah,
Um, and Edwards, honestly, in my opinion, still hasn't finished business with Bilal Muhammad. So there's just there. I mean, there's some good fun fights there. They're not like super exciting, besides the one that I mentioned, which was Luque and Covington. But there's some fun fights there.
yeah. This is kind of the welterweight division that we wanted to see right after Usman beat Woodley, but because was doing the whole I'm only fighting once a year thing, it kind of stalled. You didn't see as much. But now that I mean, Usman just fought in December, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
December against Burns, and he's already gonna fight again here in April. Like this is the Usman that we want, and I think you'll probably agree with me when a champion is a fighting champion, it does kind of energize the division. It makes the other fighters in the division say like, okay, let's go. Like he's gonna fight again. Let me go out there and let me show something that show what I can do against the same guys that this guy's beaten. So you look at like a Luque, like Burns did the same thing too before he fought Usman. He destroyed Usman destroyed Woodley for 5 rounds, and it was enough for Dana to say, "Okay, you get a shot." Now Luque has just done that to Woodley as well. Maybe Luque calls out a guy that Usman beat, Covington, and he goes out there and he beats a Covington, or Covington gets a win, and I don't know. I guess I'm trying to say like, it energizes the division when the champion is fighting just as much as the other guys are, and that's what we're seeing in the welterweight division. Because I think there are a few times where we're like welterweight's kind of it's probably more exciting division, and then it kind of went stagnant. We didn't really hear nothing. We didn't see anything, or Usman wasn't fighting. But with Usman fighting soon, Covington's been on the back burner for a little bit, so maybe he's gonna look for a fight soon. Uh, And Luque, I just looked it up. He's only 29 years old, man. Like, there's no reason
Mm-hmm.
that Luque not be fighting near the top.
Yeah, I remember I told you in the last one too. He also has a KO victory over Thiago Santos. So that's how hard he hits, man. Thiago Santos is now at 205, and he used to fight at 185. And Vicente Luque has a KO win over him. So the dude hits like a Mack truck. But there's a lot, man. That you mentioned there as far as Usman goes. And are you there? Damn it.
Sorry about that, guys. My laptop died, and I think Jesus thought I ditched him. Hold on. I'm getting him back on.
Yeah.
Got that, bro. Yeah, man. The laptop died with no warning at all. It just said.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think my it's I don't know who's weird. I think my internet crapped out at the same time too.
All
So
right. Well, technical difficulties on this end, guys. But as we were saying, Luque, look out for him. Big win over Woodley. Fight of the night bonuses for both of those guys. Love to see it. So let's get to the main event. This main event. So we're getting the GOAT heavyweight of all time, the greatest of all time. Stipe Miocic coming off of his win against DC, a great fight between those two. Obviously, we had the one eye poke that might have damaged DC, but at the same time, he still put up a great fight. Going up against Ngannou for the second time. And the first fight, Stipe was able to do everything right, stay out of the way of the power of Ngannou, was able to actually eat some of the power that Ngannou had. And people were wondering, because in all of Ngannou's recent fights, he's just been blitzing guys, coming right at them, knocking them out. Where are we going to get that same Ngannou? And that's not what we got. We got a calm, calculating Ngannou, which is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen since watching MMA.
yeah, we saw we saw the birth of a new meme called Calm Ngannou, and it's terrifying.
It's 100% terrifying.
Dude, I just okay. So a couple things, man. Like, yeah, you said it. You know, in the first fight, I mean, Stipe didn't just avoid Ngannou's power. He got hit by Ngannou square in his big ass melon head that he has,
and ate it.
You know, I mean, he didn't walk through it. Like, he felt it, and he knew, like, okay, I can't take too many of these. And he stuck and moved and used his wrestling and kept basically Ngannou off balance the whole fight. But this fight, man, I'm just telling you, man, like I see it vividly in my head. You know, when I saw Ngannou sprawl and break that wrestling and just smash him and lay on top of him and almost ended it right there. He spun around and started hitting him. I was like, holy crap, there's not going to be any wrestler that's going to be able to touch this dude now if Stipe can't. Yeah, if Stipe can't handle him and he has technique to go with his sheer strength. Every time you're going for a like, don't get me wrong too, like every time you go in for a takedown, you get the potential to get knocked out like Velasquez did, right? Where you go in and he just uppercuts you, or like Derek Lewis just did to Blades.
Yeah.
But if you go in on a very good angle, because that was a good angle that Stipe went in on, and he can technique you and drop his hips and smash you down like that with his technique and his power, you're basically giving up position, because now he can spin around you like he did, and he's right in his range to knock you out right there. Like, Stipe didn't get knocked out because Stipe has a chin, like a granite chin, a big old head right there.
Yeah.
You put any other heavyweight right there, they're going to sleep just right there. So now those heavyweights are like, oh crap, I can't shoot in on him anymore. Like, I can't do that because he's gonna smash me down and he's gonna be in top position, raining down punches on me, and it's game over.
Yeah.
He's striking with him. And then when you stay striking with Ngannou, he has a legitimate advantage in speed and power. Not technique on you, but speed and power. He has an advantage on you.
Scary stuff, man. Like you said, those punches that he was doing just on the way up, like Stipe was able to get up after he went for that takedown and missed it. He was able to get up, but he ate like 4 or 5 really nice shots to the face. But and the beautiful thing is, like what we're saying with patient Ngannou, like he didn't go crazy and keep trying to go. Like once Stipe got up, he's like, okay, let's back off of him, let's go back to work. And like that's the kind of championship fight IQ that we have to see from a guy like Ngannou. And the podcast I was listening to right after this fight, Coffee and KOs, those guys over there, check them out. They do fight breakdowns immediately after the fights, and they're a big betting team. They like to bet a lot. they were pissed at this card. This was a very anti-betters card because everything that should have happened didn't happen.
That's
Everything that
funny.
everyone expected to happen, like Ngannou not being able to stop Stipe from taking him down, shouldn't have happened, and it did. And it's because, first of all, this guy mixes power, speed, and size. This dude is gigantic. He has to cut weight to make 260, and still is shredded. Like that's wild, man. Like I know Derek Lewis has to cut weight to make 262, but it's not a shredded 260. It's a very much like it's a very average type looking body. I mean, he looks great. I mean, don't get me wrong, he looks great, but like he doesn't look anything like Ngannou looks. And if you run it back, I know obviously we're most likely getting the John Jones and Ngannou fight after what John Jones tweeted today, but if they ran it back with Derek Lewis and Ngannou, I'm picking Ngannou in that fight every time because I think not only does he have the technique and now the wrestling, because Derek Lewis is also expanding his game too. Derek Lewis isn't afraid to get to the ground either. But I think that because of his sheer size, speed, and power, like I don't think he's as afraid, or he's still respected, but he's not as afraid of the power of Derek Lewis as he was in their first fight, because that first fight was a stinker. We all know that. That was two guys that respected each other's power. And this one, I think we get a full-on Derek Lewis respecting Ngannou, but Ngannou not 100%, like, not saying disrespecting, but also thinking like, I could take it. I can handle it. And if I need to, I'll take him to the ground. And who knows, maybe that would be a wrestling fight that between those two. And it would come down to who's stronger, who can handle it. And give the edge.
Can you imagine that, dude?
Wouldn't that be crazy? Like two knockout artists, and they're like, "We're gonna wrestle for 5 rounds."
Well, dude, I mean, it happens opposite all the time where two wrestlers do a kickboxing match. Yeah,
yeah. We saw it with Usman and Covington. Those guys boxed it out the entire time because they respect each other's wrestling. But I would probably still give my edge to Ngannou because you say the sprawl, and the sprawl was fantastic. That was a great sprawl. I said the transition where he got and took Stipe's back. And that surprised the hell out of Joe Rogan, DC. I heard they were both like, he just took the back. Like, holy shit, like this is crazy. I know they can't curse during the broadcast, but I'm pretty sure they both wanted to be like, holy shit, like what the fuck just happened?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And again, he didn't do that on a scrub. You know, Stipe has wrestling background, you know what I mean? So for him to do it on Stipe, that means he could probably get that on anybody. Maybe with the exception of Blades, but he's not fighting Blades anytime soon, anyways.
No.
So I don't know, and I just think it's his division right now. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that can kind of mess with his skill set. Basically, this John Jones fight, if it does happen, I'm still skeptical. You know, if it does happen, and I told you on fight night, you know, I told everybody that would listen that, you know, John Jones ain't gonna do nothing to Ngannou, dude. Like, John Jones thinks he's gonna be. He thinks he's gonna be able to do these teep kicks. But his speed advantage is gone. His reach advantage is gone. His size advantage is gone because he's bigger than a lot of 200 pounders.
Yeah.
All that's gonna be on against Ngannou, dude. So he's fighting, and you know this has been, you know, borne out in history a lot, man. Like let's say a 10 skilled fighter that's smaller than a 10 skilled bigger fighter, the bigger fighter is going to win, you know, and this is what it is. You know, I'm not saying John Jones is not skilled. I'm not saying he's not the greatest of all time at 205 pounds, but I feel like the size, the speed, the power of Ngannou is going to nullify a lot of that advantage that he had. I mean, if you look at it, somebody did that to him already. The first time they did that to him, and he struggled. And the first time was against Gustafsson. Whenever he fought him, he didn't have a size advantage because Gustafsson is 6'6". He didn't have a speed advantage because Gustafsson was just as fast as him, if not faster. And he didn't have a reach advantage because he was 6'6", you know, and John Jones has like a 6'8" wingspan or 6'9" wingspan. But it didn't matter because he was fighting a guy who's 6'6". And that was probably the toughest fight of his career. And now you're doing the same thing. You're taking all your advantages away and you're fighting a guy with tremendous power that can put your lights out. So I don't know, man. And you know, another thing too, man. I saw his interview. I think I sent it to you. I forwarded it to you. I don't know if I did or I didn't. But probably about a year ago, when he was talking about moving up and getting a raise, and he saw that DC got a raise when he moved up, and he was talking about it, and he's saying that he wants to fight Ngannou, or if he fights Ngannou, that Ngannou will probably break his jaw. And he said, and that's okay because I've beaten enough people that sometimes I'm gonna, you know, maybe one time I'm gonna get my just desserts or whatever, and that's okay. But I just want to be compensated well for it. That's already creeped into his mind, you know, that he can get his jaw broken by Ngannou. So, you know, I don't think it's the same mindset that he had when he was fighting a lot of these 205 pounders, where he was the alpha and they were all trying to reach the hill where he was at. I think he knows that he's coming in at a disadvantage, and that's a different mindset for him to have, man. I don't think he's ever fought like that. So we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. I agree. I think
I'd be the underdog.
I think they did open up as him the underdog. If there's betting lines out there right now.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the size, I mean that plays completely into Stipe and Ngannou here too, because like there's a gigantic size difference between Stipe and Ngannou in this fight, man. Like Stipe came in, it looked like he just walked in off the street and was like, that might be the way he walks around at. Maybe he had to cut a little bit, but not nearly as much as Ngannou had. And the size difference between the two was like monumental. And I forgot where I was.
I just think that part was a strategy for Stipe, man. And here's the other thing that, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure people have talked about it, but man, the cage had a big part to do with it too, man. He didn't have he didn't have enough space to move around, and I think that's probably why Stipe was coming in lighter to be faster and to be able to be more elusive. But in the end, it ended up costing him because he wasn't able to use his size to kind of wrestle Ngannou like he did in the first fight. So yeah, dude, size had a big deal with it.
Yeah, and I forgot, I was listening to a podcast earlier and they were talking about, because Zion recently came out and said that he thinks he could be, you know, a top guy, a top all-time guy basically. And one of the guys I was talking about it mentioned, look at like the top 10 all time in the NBA. A lot of them are 7-footers because just being bigger gives you an advantage in a lot of sports, and MMA is an exception. Like being the bigger guy does give you a big advantage. Obviously, you can bring that down with technique and all kinds of stuff, but that's just a really good advantage to walk in with. And there's no doubt that Ngannou is going to have the gigantic size advantage. You have to actually wonder, like, is Jones going to be walking in at like 220, or is he going to try and put on a little more weight, a little more muscle, and walk in about the 230, 240?
I think he's going to be like 230, 235 from what I understand.
Which is crazy when you think of Ngannou's going to walk in at not 260. Like he has to cut.
It's probably going to be like 280.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to have a 50-pound weight advantage on him, dude. So
there goes the wrestling advantage for John Jones. Obviously, technique can sometimes win, but damn, like, I mean, if you're a person, you grab onto a tree trunk, guess what? That tree trunk ain't moving.
Dude, when he's hitting him on his legs, it's like he's hitting a tree trunk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he might break his foot with a leg kick.
That's what I'm saying, dude. There's so many things that could happen. It's just not a good matchup for John Jones.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know, John Jones is real big about his legacy, but maybe he's just trying to get this last payday and retire and say, all right, I got beat up, but I got, you know, $35 million or $40 million, and that's it. I'm riding off into the sunset. But you ride off into the sunset. You ride off into sunset with your legacy being tarnished, saying that you couldn't win at heavyweight, and DC did. So now you're not the greatest of all time because you just won at light heavyweight and you didn't win at heavyweight when you went up to the challenge. So
that's very true.
There's a lot riding on that fight for John Jones. It's just a really bad matchup, in my opinion.
And you know what? What's funny is that we're talking about this fight, and we didn't even talk about the knockout sequence. We're talking about the other stuff that happened. Isn't that crazy? Like that's how impressive this was for Ngannou. Like the impressive part to me was the fact that he sprawled, the fact that he transitioned to take the back of Stipe. But then we don't even think about the knockout of how he had him on the road, he had him on the cage, almost knocked him out on the cage. took a step back, and you see Stipe hit a nice little counter jab.
No, it was a counter. It
It,
was a counter right, dude. It was
oh,
a
right,
counter
a
right
counter
hand,
right. It
and
hits
it wobbled. It
Ngannou.
wobbled him.
Yeah, it wobbled him. He rushes in and eats that punch, man. And that's the thing about Ngannou is that you can hurt him. You can hurt him, and he still can knock you out with that power because that's how strong he is.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it wobbled him. It
I think it
definitely
caught him off
hurt him.
guard.
It hurt him to an extent because it backed him up. It like backed him up, and he
And that's when
reset.
Stipe ran in.
And Stipe saw that, and he like, oh, I got him hurt. He didn't have him hurt. He got him, like you said, maybe he caught him off guard. And dude, that punch that he threw is called a check left hook. That's a check left hook, and he caught him with that check left hook right on the chin, dude. Torque, power, everything just exploding. And dude, I saw somebody freeze frame it, dude, and he was literally off the ground, dude. He was literally off the ground. Yeah, dude, that's how bad it was, dude. Because whenever you're off the ground like that and you're off balance, everything is going to your head, dude. You're like nothing else is absorbing it. And so that just put his lights out, dude. And his lights were put out nasty. Like he fell over like a ton of bricks. But dude, and then the thing that I sent you, man, which I thought was freaking awesome, dude. Like this is why they need some boxing coaches sometimes too. Is Teddy Atlas teaching them how to throw a proper left hook, how to snap it, how do you like saying you already got the power, you just need the torque, you just snap it, and if it touches, it's gonna do a lot of damage. That's exactly what happened, man.
Don't throw with everything you've got, man. Just touch them.
No, just touch him. That's exactly what he did. He just snapped it out there, threw it out. It was instinct. It was all instinct. He just boom, threw it, and game over, dude. That's how much power Ngannou has, man.
Yeah. And you hear that a lot whenever you're listening to broadcasts and all kinds of things. Like the knockout artists, they're not looking for a knockout, man. They're just touching you. They're hitting you. They know that if I can touch you enough, eventually one of these is gonna knock you out.
Dude, perfect example was Giannis in that last fight card, dude. Mm-hmm. That punch that he knocked him out with and knocked him forward with, it was just a technique thing. I throw this punch every day to my guy when I hit mitts. It just so happened that there wasn't a mitt there. There was a chin there this time, and it put his lights out. You know, it's just technique, it's muscle memory. Those guys with natural power are something else, dude. They just got to touch them in the right place, and it's game over, dude. And that's, I mean, it's cool, man. It's cool, and it's cool to see, you know, the evolution and understanding by Ngannou. Ngannou gets a lot of crap, man, because he does throw wide punches and he's excited. But in this fight, he was a little more, a little bit more technique to go with the power that he has.
Yeah, and like a part of me's thinking like maybe he knew something about Rosenstrike that nobody else thought. Maybe he knew like he can't handle me blitzing him. He's never had somebody coming at him walking him down like that. So I'm gonna walk him down before he can do that to me. And he knew that he could do that. Same thing probably with Dos Santos. He knew that he could handle the power of Dos Santos and go in there and hit his own. But with Stipe, he knew I have to be calculating. I have to know what I'm doing. I have to throw everything with purpose. Don't throw just don't throw just a throw. Throw everything with purpose. And I think that's what he did in this. And that's what you want to see from. This is like a perfect epitome of like what you want as a fighter. As a fighter, for a fighter, is to just go from being this. Because think about it, people were talking about Ngannou as, oh, he's sloppy, he's just gonna blitz. All we heard all the week was he's gonna blitz Stipe, and Stipe's gonna weather the storm, and he's gonna beat him, and that's not what we got. And now you say, do this again, do it again, do it in the next fight. I will say, I just want to point out, us over here at the ANS podcast, we called it. I'm pretty sure we called this win, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know I did. I know I called it. I got various text messages. I know we talked about it on here. I thought I was picking Ngannou as well. Because I think I told you, too, that Stipe has his best statistical fight in his whole career against Ngannou the first time. No, I didn't think he was going to be able to replicate that this late in his career after the wars he's been in. And it came to be true. You know, Ngannou's on the way up and Stipe's on the way down in their careers.
Yeah. And I kind of talked myself into it because I was like, I mentioned the whole fact that we were talking about whoever loses the DC and Stipe fight is probably going to retire, and maybe he was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I'm not going to say that that's what happened here, but it definitely might play. It definitely plays a part in psyche and in preparation, and
Now,
that's
but
what we got
now I will
here.
say this. I will say this. I don't think you count Stipe out either.
Mm-mm.
DC knocked him out silly like that too. And then he came back and adjusted and knocked out DC twice. This one's a little different because he has one win over a young Ngannou, and now he has a knockout loss to Ngannou. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from Stipe. I would think that the
He
UFC would
posted on
probably,
Instagram. Uh,
but I'm saying like I
he
haven't seen
posted like
like he
a
wants to
very long
fight him
thing on
again.
Instagram. Oh no. He's just that he wants to spend time with his family and
Reassess or something.
figure out, yeah, reassess, see what happens. I'll pull up the whole thing because he posted like a
That's
long
interesting.
thing, and it was nice to see.
That's not the same thing he had after DC. He's probably going to retire, man. And now that you're telling me that, and then
Yeah,
on the flip side
I
too,
have it right here.
man. On the flip side of Ngannou, real quick on Ngannou, dude, he's one of the nicest guys, one of the most likable guys in the UFC. From literal rags to riches.
Check out
Um,
his podcast with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
This man deserves a movie.
yeah, exactly, dude, exactly. But also, man, he recently had a interview. I think it was on ESPN. They posted on ESPN MMA, and his definition of success is a lot different from other humans. It's not money and it's not UFC championships. It's just that he has to try his best and he has to do his best.
Mhm.
And that's his definition of success. Because if he doesn't,
That's
then he
awesome to
feels,
hear.
yeah, he's let people down and he's let others down that have got him to this point. So it's just really an amazing story, man. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, even though he put in the work to earn it. You know, he's earned this victory. He's earned this being the top of the mountain. And he's a very scary, formidable dude, man, in the cage. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to have an imposing, because Stipe is not imposing, dude. Stipe, you know, they always
He's a
make fun of
guy.
those. Yeah, he's just a normal guy. He's a firefighter. He wears glasses. You know, they have those funny memes of saying this is the baddest man on the planet because he's wearing glasses and like watching something. I
He's
don't
a
know,
typical blue
but
collar guy, man.
yeah, but Ngannou, dude, like you said, you know, him and Lewis weigh the same, but Ngannou looks like he's, you know, carved from stone, dude. You know, like
Hmm.
he's a gladiator, he's a warrior, and I'm not saying Stipe is not. You know, Stipe is the most heavyweight champion in the UFC, and he's probably goat, definitely goat conversation before this loss, and even after this loss. I mean, Ngannou's a tough dude,
Still,
and we haven't seen his story play out. But I just feel like the skill set that Ngannou brings, the power, the destruction. He's like, and I said this. I mean, back then on one of our podcasts, he's like the MMA version of Mike Tyson when he was going through people. You know, he has
mhm,
that aura about him, like you're gonna get knocked out and knocked out quick. You know,
yeah.
and that's what he has right now. That's what he has right now. So it's very exciting. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm excited about you know, Mike Tyson in his heyday is one of my favorite boxers, just because of the KOs and the aura around him and his whole mindset and things like that. And now we get to see that MMA with Ngannou, and we're
Mhm.
gonna see, man. We're gonna see these heavyweights. They're gonna either be lining up or they're gonna be making excuses. You know, and we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. So I have Stipe's entire Instagram post. So he put, first and foremost, I'm okay. I know that fall wasn't my most graceful fall, but I wasn't conscious, so it happens. But to my family, friends, and fans, especially Croatia and Cleveland, I love you and I'm sorry. I hate letting you down. To my team, thank you. I know you feel every loss just as much as I do. We win as a family, we lose as a family. Losses aren't fun. They always sting for a while, but that's the beast of this business. You can't win them all, and it's important to understand that losing is just as much a part of sports and life as winning. Don't ever forget God will always put you where you're meant to be at that exact moment. You can't dwell on what you should have done better, but you can learn and improve from it and come back more prepared next time. Unfortunately, I deviated from game plan. I felt great coming into the second round. I saw it was beginning to go as planned. He was getting very winded, and I came in overzealous and unprotected. I wasn't in a good posture to take the hit. He saw the opening and did what any great fighter would have done. That was my error that I accept. It won't happen again. Lastly, I'd like to congratulate Francis Ngannou and his team on a well-earned victory. Saturday night was your night. Enjoy your victory. For now, I'm going to enjoy the downtime, spend some time with my family, and welcome our son into this world this summer. Stay tuned. God bless. Then he
Yeah.
put the Croatia flag and put like Cleveland till I die.
You know, I
He's
mean,
an NGK guy.
dude, just pure class, man. Pure class from him. I feel like the heavyweight division has had a lot of class with DC and Stipe and now Ngannou.
Mhm.
These guys are all class, and that's how you. I mean, that's how you lose. Basically, that's a
Sean
page of
O'Malley.
how. Yeah, exactly. That's how to take a loss, man, and how to really. I mean, he analyzed it right away. I mean, he analyzed it right away. He knows what he did wrong.
Yeah,
And it's okay
he
to
was
admit.
right. Ngannou was getting winded. He was getting
Yeah,
very winded in the second round.
yeah. So it's just that's the championship mindset, man. That's the championship mindset right there, and that's a lot of things too. Like, man, sports is sports, man. Like it's just a snapshot of right now, and Stipe has to go to the drawing board and say, how does this version of Stipe beat Ngannou? Because this version of Stipe is not the one. Damn it.
Sorry, you're back.
Okay, cool. It like could he beat Ngannou more if he was in his prime against Ngannou's prime? Maybe, but we don't have that. We have now. You know what I mean? So it's analyzing it, man. It's understanding it and going back to the drawing board. And that's the chess of MMA, man. That's why I love MMA too. Like, will he be able to go back and adjust and give Ngannou a run for his money? Who knows? I'd like to
Yep.
see it, And will
Yeah.
Ngannou continue to get better? Who knows? If it's
Yeah.
true, if this common Ngannou is a thing, then maybe we're just seeing the beginning of the GOAT, which is Ngannou.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely see. I mean, dude, if he puts John Jones under his names of people he's beaten, that's automatically like, man, you beat one of the greatest of all times. Like, that's a big deal. And there's a lot of up and coming guys in the division, in the heavyweight division. You look at guys like like a Gagne who's coming up. Tom Aspinall's a young up and comer that we got to keep our eyes on. Chris Dawkins. There's a lot of young guys that that could have a future in this business that Ngannou can take out early. We never know, but in terms of ranking, besides John Jones, most likely it's Derek Lewis. And you know how much we love Derek Lewis, and to see Derek Lewis get another shot would be really cool too. We love our Houston guys, so it'd be hard to root against them for sure.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that, real quick, we got to touch on the subject of the money side of it with John Jones and not coming to terms with the UFC and going back and forth, and John Jones basically saying 8 to 10 million is not enough for him for this fight, and Derek Lewis saying that he would do it for 8 million. And although that's funny, it's a funny thing to put on Twitter. It's also like, yeah, man, you have to stop doing that. Everybody knows this. I grew up in a household. My father was a contractor and self-employed, and he would have to fight with other people that were kept undercutting prices, and they kept undercutting prices, and you can't keep undercutting prices because in the end you're gonna be doing it for free, and that doesn't help. It doesn't help the cause. It doesn't help you. It doesn't your fellow person that's in the same position. And you know who's been a real advocate recently and making smart statements is Derek Brunson. Talking about how John Jones is only saying that because it affects him. but he needs to be speaking up for everybody down the line to the lowest guy on the totem pole in the UFC to make more money. And the new Venom, raises. So the first 500 to 3,000. So five, and they did the percentage of it along the line, and it actually doesn't keep up with the inflation of the 2015 Reebok deal. So they're actually getting paid less than what Reebok was paying them. So it's just bad overall, man. The fighter pay things going to keep happening. I sent you an article from 2013.
Yeah.
Of a voice, and it just sucks because get this fight with Ngannou and John Jones and John. If we don't, you can chalk it up to fan for something that we're not going to get to see.
Yeah, I think maybe like when you're saying with John Jones should be like advocating for everybody. Maybe when Derek Lewis tweets him out, like, "Oh, I'd do it for $8 million," like maybe John Jones should check him on that, man. Like, hey, man, but you shouldn't want to do it for $8 million. Oh, he did. Okay, because that's I think what he needs to do is more fighters got to check that, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, John Jones is not coming at it from a.
I know.
And Brunson said it too. Brunson said, you guys kept talking about it's great that Conor McGregor's making all that money because then we'll make more money. He said, but we didn't make more money. Only Conor McGregor made money, Yep. And so he said, John Jones making a lot of money. He's not going to help the guy at the bottom make more money. So John Jones did check 22 because they're rep by the same management team. So that's not okay. Like, I'm sure Derek Lewis said, hey, dude, cut that crap out. And John Jones said, you can have that fight again. It's going to be boring like the first one. Like the first one was. So he did check him, dude. He did check him, but it doesn't matter because it's all, John Jones is just now for John Jones at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we're going to go ahead and call it a night here for the ANS podcast. We will get into, because we have a free week basically next week. So next Wednesday, we will be breaking down the recent fight announcements. Hopefully by the time we record, there will be even more fight announcements. So we'll be breaking those down. The Houston card is looking fantastic. It's going to be hard to get tickets, but it's also going to be hard for me not to go. So I'm looking forward to that. So tune in next week, guys, when we break down all the upcoming fights that we have coming forward. We'll break down We're breaking down Holland versus Vettori, which will be happening next Saturday. So tune in for that. Until then, I am your host, Alec Miller. You can find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. And my main man, Jesus. Let them know where they can find you, brother.
Find me on Twitter at TheRealJesus, and that's spelled JZUS. Absolutely,
guys. So I'm going to head out. Go watch the Astros game because it is now a game. It is 6-4 in the top of the seventh, or bottom of the seventh. So I will be watching that. We will see you guys next week. And until then, be good, be safe, and peace out.
AMF.